Hello.
Call to order the Paintsville regular city council meeting Monday, March 11th, 2019, 6 p.m. Coach, if you don't care, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
David.
here.
Sarah. Here. Bo.
Present.
Sarah. Here. Tim. Rick.
Present.
All right, I just got a couple of announcements. I want to give you a property cleanup update. We had tagged 11 vehicles in the city limits, and of those 11, 6 have been removed from the streets. There's some other issues we got to go through on the others, but we are going to get that done. Also, on your properties, we have a list, which I cannot give you addresses or names, but there is a list of 27 properties that we are going to, I don't want to use the word demand, but we're going to ask respectfully to be cleaned up. If they're not, then we're going to take further action. Spring cleanup for the city will be April 15th through the 19th. April 15th through the 19th. Now, there are certain items that they cannot set out for us to pick up, and you'll have to contact City Hall to find out what those items are. The next town hall meeting, Mr. Josh Johnson, do you have a date for the next town hall meeting?
27th.
27th of
March.
this month?
Yep, 6 p.m.
Next town hall is 27th of March at 6 p.m. Also, Miss Regina, do you want me to let them know about the public meeting for the Army Corps? Are we supposed to mention that, or?
It's been rescheduled.
Right, I know it has, but you want me to tell them when it's been rescheduled for?
We're looking at the first couple weeks of June.
Okay. So that will be the public meeting for whatever alternative that they finally choose, right?
For the flood mitigation project,
Okay.
they'll have a final alternative chosen by then.
Okay. And that's all I've got. I need approval for the minutes from the regular meeting on February the 11th, 2019.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Approval of department reports.
I'll make the motion to approve the motion for the department reports. Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Approval to pay bills as presented.
I'll make the motion to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Moving on to business, we have to have the second reading of the continuity of government ordinance. And Mr. Baldwin, you want to take that one over?
This is an ordinance enacted pursuant to KRS 398.100, providing for the designation of an individual to act in the event of or the absence or disability of the mayor, and in the event of the occurrence of certain situations or events as contemplated under the state statute. Repealing all other ordinances in conflict herewith, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Paintsville, Kentucky as follows. In the event of the absence or disability of the mayor at the time and in the event of the occurrence or threatened or pending occurrence of any of the situations or events contemplated by KRS 398.010, 398.020, or 398.030, which is of such severity or complexity as to require the exercise of extraordinary emergency measures as provided for under state statute. Sarah Blair is hereby designated as the mayor's designee pursuant to state statute as the individual who may declare in writing that an emergency exists, and thereafter, subject to any orders of the governor, shall have and may exercise for the period as the state of emergency exists or continues, the emergency powers expressly set forth in state statute.
We need a motion and a second.
And a roll call, there's
Okay. I need a motion to accept that.
I'll make that motion, we accept it for the government orders.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Let's do a roll call on it.
David,
Yes.
Sarah, I guess you asked me, do you?
No. Vote no.
Yes.
We'll ask-
Yes.
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes. Don't you done? No.
Tim? Rick?
Yes.
Then the ordinance passes. We got two more things on the agenda. They are very brief. Number one is what I call the hole.
What?
The hole in behind City Hall where we tore the building down. That is property that, make sure I say this right now, Mr. Baldwin, property on Paint Creek that is adjacent to the old Terry Office Supply Building. I need for council to consider the transfer of that property for a sum of money.
You mean they're gonna give us money?
$5,000, yes.
And they're gonna clean it up?
It's, we're done with it, they're gonna clean it up and we get the money.
I'll make that motion, if that's what you want.
If we're getting money, I think we're getting.
All in favor? Opposed? And also, I need for Mr. Baldwin to read a resolution for a utilities grant, which is going to hopefully, for engineering purposes, hopefully to run lines from the city of Paintsville to the Honey Branch plant.
This resolution states that the city of Paintsville, in partnership with the Johnson County Fiscal Court, Paintsville Utilities, and Paintsville Johnson County Economic Development Authority, support the development of a a sewer project to divert existing wastewater from the vicinity of James S. Trimble Boulevard Bridge to US 23, Kentucky Route 460, to the intersection of US 23, Route 1428, then along Kentucky Route 321 to the intersection of 321 Route 302, and along Kentucky Route 302 to an existing lift station in West Van Leer to connect the Honey Branch wastewater treatment plant. Whereas the Paintsville wastewater treatment plant is currently operating over capacity and is under a sewer sanction and cannot issue any new sewer taps in its service area. Whereas the Honey Branch wastewater treatment plant is operating at approximately 30% capacity and will operate more efficiently with the addition of the diverted waste. Whereas the proposed project will free up capacity at the Paintsville wastewater treatment plant. Whereas the implementation of the proposed project will create economic development opportunities, now therefore the city of Paintsville, Johnson County Fiscal Court, Paintsville Utilities, Paintsville Johnson County Economic Development Authority intends to make application to collectively or individually as deemed necessary to the Kentucky Power Economic Growth Grant, Community Development Block Grant Program, Appalachian Regional Commission, Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, USDA Rural Development, for a community facilities loan and application to further funding sources as available. Let it be resolved, and this is the resolution, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation for the furtherance of this project.
Now, we are under no, with this resolution at this time, we are under no financial obligation, is that
This is
correct?
simply to seek funding in partnership with these other entities.
Like for you to go get some.
Yeah.
This will give you the permission to do that.
I have like 4 or 5 that I'm already intending to write. This just gives me something to put with my applications.
Now,
That-
let's explain to them also that if we start doing things jointly, if council and fiscal court start doing things jointly, we stand a much better chance of receiving things like these, correct?
Yeah, you actually have 4 partners that are going to the funding agencies, and we can maximize our dollars that way. For instance, with CDBG, if you apply a loan, the city applies a loan, you can get $500,000. If you apply jointly with the county, you can get $1 million.
You're already earning your money.
No brainer.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
No-brainer
is.
to me.
So we don't need a motion?
Yes.
Yeah, we need a motion in a second.
I make a motion, we, accept the resolution as read.
All in favor? Opposed? Now, that is all for the order of business. Now, I would like to add this. We as a council, what I said earlier in my comments, we are respectfully asking people who own vehicles and property in this city to get them cleaned up. That's as good as I can put it.
You know, is this on all city properties,
Yes,
including the housing authorities?
I don't know that we got any control over the housing authority. We have to check on that, Miss Sarah.
I know there's quite a few up there, used to be a bunch up at the high rise, and there is some over on 6th Street I know too. Does that do we oversee that too, Dottie?
No, I think all we do is appoint board members. That's all we do as a
That's
council,
all
Miss Sarah.
that you have.
I think, so. I've been wrong before,
Me too, a lot.
311 times.
365.
That's been lost, yeah, always all the time. I'd say Belcher and I got the blame for a few of those.
Is there anything from council?
I mean, I'd just like to add on to that, not just like the abandoned vehicles and dilapidated properties and things like that, just litter in general. As I was coming down from the bridge right there at Hobby Hall and I was sitting at the red light, so much garbage all along the hillside. And I mean, I know we've had a flood, and I know that we've had a lot of rain and things like that, but people are putting that out there for a reason. And it's just, it's not very pretty, it's unsightly, it's not good for any economic growth in the area, you know, it's unsanitary. Just be mindful, that's my biggest thing, is so respectfully asking them to.
Well, you got a solid waste commission that actually should be kind of helping you do that if you make a request for them. Whoever that is, I know we used to have to do it.
Right,
And they'll go to the homeowners, not just Mr. Stewart, I'm not saying that, but on issues like that.
yeah,
And they can send them letters and everything and tell them, you know,
Yeah, and I
illegal
agree with-
dumping or whatever.
the mayor, and respectfully asking first, and then if it comes down
Right.
to it.
It won't do us a bit of good as a council to sit up here and vote things in like the resolution we just did. For our utilities to do the work they're doing, they're trying to make sure you've got clean water, safe water. You're not gonna get people to come to your community if you are nasty.
That's right.
I agree.
Right.
That's it.
It's the bottom line. So 2 things they need to be teaching in high school right now. Number 1 is respect for your city. Don't throw trash out the windows, and American history.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anything else from council?
I just want to thank everybody for the first responders and all that, for the job they done the other night during all that rain. I know we was ready for the backwater, but I don't think we was ready for anything else, was we there?
Well, you guys did an excellent job.
This was.
An excellent job,
As you always do.
as you always do. Anything from the floor?
I got a question, Bill, Mike, on that sewer project that you all trying to get grant money for and everything. Now, it's not gonna be one of them, new water plant deals where it's budgeted for 10 million and costs 30, is it?
No, all this is supposedly, no, supposedly all this is running lines
Yeah.
from, what, Bob, the city to the Honey Branch plant,
Correct.
correct?
Actually, the West Family, to tie into the existing line.
Okay, and then you're gonna have some type of pump station up there?
But there'll be a few pump stations along the way. But it ties in.
What he's asking is, he don't want something like he just said.
Like sewage rates going up anymore and all that stuff.
Well, we already voted on them to go higher when we agreed that we would do the Zion project. And,
Well,
that was a.
That worked good, and getting into the basements and everything.
So, you know, we did that, and we went into executive session about 3 times on that. And in order for us to agree to do it, that they would agree to make sure that this was done correctly for the citizens. And I can only hope and pray they've done that.
And another question, I just spoiled them, Dana. Why was it ever, the city is responsible for drainage?
Storm drainage, honestly, city responsible.
Okay, and then you got the sewer company and the water company, they're responsible for theirs. Why aren't they responsible for everything, or the city responsible for everything? Why is it split up?
Make it as a whole.
It was done,
I really wish I could answer that.
No.
well, it was done years ago.
I can't, I mean, that was done evidently years ago, because I can remember as a boy growing up, and I know
Yeah, Paintsville utilities.
Coach probably could too, but everything was controlled by city government.
Yeah, but what's the, I don't understand the purpose of it.
I don't know.
I know that
You don't get no money to do repair work for that.
No.
So,
well, I mean, you know, I always complain about them not having it over in Richmond Village, when they pay taxes for 40 or 50 years on houses that are their tax rate is a lot higher than the ones in the city limits, most of them. And I think they've done their due diligence and should be a part of the city, but yet they don't have storm drains over there, and every time it rains hard, it backs up in all their garages, and I really hate that for them. And in some of the basements over there too. Although the houses that are on the riverbank over there, their basements don't flood, but the ones up in the Richmond area proper do, which is really weird.
Where was that, sir? Richmond Village?
and that
Richmond
brings me
Village.
to my next question then.
Okay.
During these recent storms that we had here and everything, something is wrong up our way, up where you live, and, because it's never done that before. Sue Ann Cooper's house and Jeremy's and Sarah's got flooded, and then I think some houses down the street.
Heath Castle.
Some,
Heath Castle's done got it too.
yeah,
Melissa.
some way or another, that system's not right.
I don't know what's caused it. It's never done what it did here either. On Frank Street, it came off that hill. We've always been flooded from backwater on Frank Street.
Yeah.
This time it came off that hill and ran, it looked like a river on these 3 houses right here going through and coming all the way through the parking lot of this rec center. I walked down there and looked at it.
But what we're talking about now, you're talking about sewage back.
Well, I guess that's, I don't know if it's sewage or the storm drains. But I mean, it's shooting right out of that drain right on my street.
Well, when I think they come up there and did dye tests at Ronnie's house and theirs, and it wasn't going into where it's supposed to be going.
The dye test, if I can jump in here, Tommy Daniels and I
Yeah.
did the whole thing, and the dye, when he put the dye down into the drain in our laundry room, which is where everything came up, and it's flooded the downstairs, my family room, and, you know, we didn't get wiped out. This was just the downstairs were
Yeah.
a triple level, but it was in the thousands of dollars. But at the same time, the dye, when he put it down and they put the camera down the storm drain part of the I, whatever you want to call it, there was nothing. There was no dye that came out. But when they withdrew the camera and put it down the sewer, then that's where all the dye was going, from the drain in my laundry room. We don't know what's happening out there. I don't know if there's,
They come up there last year and.
but they're coming up tomorrow for a smoke test.
And
And
I think,
video inspection.
Yeah,
whatever.
and I welcome that. You know, Sarah and I talked about
who's gonna do
this
that, Bob?
this morning.
Our crew.
Well,
Who's
why
gonna do it?
wouldn't you call that crew back in that, had the contract to do that work to start with?
We will if necessary.
Yeah.
We're just doing an investigation right now.
Other places, Bob, that's backed up like that, will you be able to go back to maybe around their area and do the same thing you're doing up towards Court Street?
If it's areas
If
that
it's, right,
we were working.
okay.
I mean, you know,
I figured you would, I
you know,
just.
yes, I flooded at my house too, it hadn't happened before, but then
I think you're gonna find some of them wasn't hooked back up.
Those are all great questions, and I really wish that we could answer them for you, but we can't. But
Yeah.
I can tell you this, we're not gonna sit here and take the blame for it.
Was the, let me ask you
That's
this.
right, I don't blame
I
you.
wasn't on city council when this was approved. Was the lining approved in that?
Well,
Well,
I mean, it's not the city council.
Talk about
I wouldn't,
this?
Yes, before when y'all approved the sign-out project, was the
We-
lining approved in that?
we actually didn't know what the process was gonna
No,
be.
okay.
What we had to do was approve a rate hike to pay for it. That's what we had to do. We actually didn't know
They called it
what
that.
process that they were gonna use.
Yeah,
So we actually didn't know,
The city didn't know.
right.
No.
You're talking about us.
Yeah,
I'm talking about city council, and
Yes.
I don't know if mayor at that time knew it, if they instructed him on what the process is gonna be, I have no idea. But I know as a council, we didn't know what their process was gonna be.
yeah.
We just knew they was calling it an I&I project.
Only
Well,
thing we did was agree,
Nobody can blame you all.
Yeah,
the
I
I-9 project was to be paid for in stages, like it was raised so much,
Yes.
right.
and that's what we did.
And we're
That's
still
what we
doing,
were-
and we're in the
still
process.
doing it.
And the reason that we did that is, I think for a long time, the EPA has always required that your storm drains, that your sewer didn't go into your storm drains, and for whatever reason, it's been doing that for 100 years here. So we were trying to correct that, and that's all well and good, but in the meantime, things that, had never happened before. We got 2.89 inches of rain that weekend, 22nd, I'm sorry. The other night, we got .89, which seemed like a lot. And I'm not for sure, but I think we got 2.89 also the year of the tornado. Correct me if I'm wrong, Regina, but I think it was about the same that we got 2 weeks ago, and we didn't have any problem then. So it's really strange.
Our 57 flood, either.
Yeah.
Our biggest concern is simply this, is the tap freezes. We sit up here as a council, and
And we did that, yes, yes, we did.
we didn't know about the tap freeze, is what I'm saying. So that, right now, that's my biggest concern, and I know these guys concerned about it too, is that when are we coming off the tap freeze? We don't wanna have restaurants come into this city and say,
We can't come in.
can we build a restaurant in a plaza, and then all of a sudden they're told that they can't have a tap?
And we've got a tax freeze on right now.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest concern as a mayor. When are we coming off the tap freeze? And I've talked with Mr. Pack, me and Mr. Pack talk all the time, and I told him, and I'll say it again, I don't understand why this resolution we just approved, I don't understand why that wasn't done first, and this one done second. Now,
I agree. Amen.
Does this have to be completed before the freeze is off? This one right here?
Yes. You mean what we're going through right now?
No, I'm
no,
talking
he's talking
this.
about this one.
We don't know yet. We're still working on the I&I,
Oh, okay.
trying to get
I
the
got you.
flows down.
So if you get so much of it done, then you go back to them and request that it?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe what we should have done, put a freeze on this till they unpack.
There you go.
I just think it'll be a lot easier for everyone to understand that the reason why new businesses and restaurants aren't coming here, it's not because we don't want it to. It's
Right.
not that any one person is standing in the way.
Of course.
It's something beyond our control. And we're working to try to get past that.
Yes, we are. That's what utilities is trying to do. I just wish that it could be a speedier process.
I'm sure.
So,
I will say this, I think the councilman, you are doing a fantastic job, and I admire you for trying to clean this town up. I hope you're including Bridgeford in that list, Eric.
It's on the list.
And I think Bob is trying to do a good job, but if there's a blame to be paid for this flooding in these people's homes, then somebody has to be responsible for it.
I agree totally.
It's not so much the damage and all that. Our biggest concern is this gonna happen again?
Yeah.
Whatever this
Will it
is,
be worse?
we can't put anything back or put new flooring down or get new furniture. And I just heard a while ago in the fiscal court, by the way, that there's FEMA, isn't that right, that we may be able to take advantage of?
Possibly under individual damage.
Okay, I heard that for the first time earlier in fiscal court. So there's other things, but making sure it doesn't happen again is paramount to,
I think everybody's getting caught up in who they're gonna try to blame. It's not I'm trying to blame anybody, it's just, I need it fixed. You know, and that is the biggest thing. I sit here trying to help people, and I understand that there's things that you have to go through, but I also understand sometimes it's a whoops. And let's correct that if we've got a problem.
I agree.
And that's all. And I, you know,
Anything else from the floor?
Bill, Mike, I just want to say again, I really appreciate you trying to clean the town. Because we need it. I'm looking at all the empty houses in town and everything. And we need to do something about the flood insurance and what you're trying. And so you're on the right track and doing everything that you should be doing. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. The council appreciates that.
Thank you, Fred.
yes, we do, Fred.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
All in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned.